Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Calculus for Summer B 2020. My name is Robert Schaller. I'll be your instructor. First thing I want to say is, due to the whole situation in the world right now, all classes have been shifted to an online format for the summer, or at least for math. That's what we did. So this class, when you first signed up for it, may have still been in its old face-to-face format where we'd meet on campus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the 6 weeks over summer B term. But that will not be the case. This will be delivered in an online format, which, just like my normal online classes, I'm just going to mirror everything that I do for those. So I wanted to get that out there. If you're someone who doesn't feel comfortable learning math in a more online format, then you're going to have to wait at least till the fall. But even then, in the fall, there's no guarantee that we'll have very many face-to-face sections. So it's, bear with me here. This is going to be different than what you probably signed up for. But it's just, we got to make do. So I want to walk you through the process of how to be successful in this course. How you're going to be graded, how you're going to, watch the lecture videos, and how you're going to, take the exams, things like that. So I just wanted to very briefly kind of walk you through the Canvas course shell here, and then we'll go over to the My Math Lab, and I'll show you how the My Math Lab component stuff works. So right off the bat, when you click on the course in Canvas, on the left-hand side, keep an eye on these announcements. And actually, if I go back one, if you have other classes that you're registered for, you'll see those generate. Notice on this one how there's like a little megaphone here. That means that I have made an announcement in that course. So you can click on that megaphone, it'll take you right to an announcement. Obviously, there's no announcements here right now, but just keep an eye on the announcements. I might make an announcement like maybe once a week, maybe not even if everything is going smooth sailing. But typically an announcement is somewhere along the lines of, hi everyone, just wanted to remind you that the first exam is available in My Math Lab. Make sure you complete it by such and such a due date. Things like that. So the announcements will just kind of be little helpful reminders. Your grades can also be tracked here. My Math Lab also tracks grades, but I'm going to just periodically move those grades over into Canvas. Some instructors like to link their My Math Lab with the Canvas, and I've done that before. I've done it both ways, where it's linked or they're separate. To me, when they're linked, it just overcomplicates some things. So I leave them separate. So most of the time, you'll be going right to My Math Lab and just doing your work, but keep an eye on the announcements here, just in case. So yeah, let's jump into the syllabus here. Actually, I already have it open. There we go. So when you look at the syllabus, yes, there's a syllabus quiz, but don't worry. The syllabus quiz is just a practice quiz. It's not even for a grade. And, there's really not too much in the syllabus that you have to be, really concerned with, other than this guy is the most important thing, and that's why I highlighted it. You're going to need this My Math Lab Access course code in order to get started with the homework and stuff. So that's me. This is my office, although, again, summer, I'm doing everything online, so I really won't be on campus very much. I may pop in here or there to get some work done or whatever. If you need to see me, we can always arrange something so we can meet on campus for like office hour, but we could also do some virtual office hours if we need to. And this is my official email. An even better way to email me is just by going into Canvas and using Canvas. If you look on the left-hand side here, there's just a thing that says inbox. Go to the course, go to the instructor, and email me. So either Canvas email or your official SCF student email is a great way to get in touch with me. So it's pre-calculus. As far as the course description goes, it's just, I know there's calculus in the name pre-calculus, but we're not doing any calculus yet. We're preparing for calculus. This is just more algebra. So hopefully you've just successfully completed college algebra, or you have SAT scores that put you here. This is just more algebra. This really goes in depths of, when we talk about the algebra that's going to be useful in calculus. So it's just a lot more algebra. Lots of things that we're going to cover are going to be functions, graphing. We're going to look at matrices if you're familiar with that. And this course, more so than college algebra, in college algebra, I always like to say that college algebra feels very mechanical, right? Here's the tool, just use it, right? Here's a hammer, hit things with it. Whereas pre-calculus, we get a little bit more into the theory. We start asking questions like why, rather than just how. College algebra is very how. How do I do this? How do I solve this problem? But when you get into pre-calculus, your brain kind of shifts a little bit, and you start thinking, well, why? Well, why does that work? Why do we do that? And that's the type of training that we need for when we do get to calculus. We want our brains to be asking the right questions, not just, oh, I can solve this problem. That's not going to be good enough in calculus. You really got to think. So again, I'm assuming everyone has college algebra background, and I'm assuming most of you will go into calculus 1, or maybe trig and then calculus 1. I don't want to do you a disservice by saying, you don't need calc 1, just finish here. I really want to do you guys justice by getting you prepared for calculus 1, if that is the path you're taking. The textbook, you don't have to buy the physical textbook. You just need to purchase the MyMathLab software. It comes with a digital version of the textbook, cover to cover. It's the exact same thing. It's just on your screen instead of in your lap. And the one thing that you'll need is this code right here. When we go to the MyMathLab website, and I'll show you how to do that, how to register. Once you get onto that MyMathLab website, you'll need to plug in that code. And then once it's plugged in, you're done. You're in the course. Graphing calculator, yes, please. Try and get out of the habit of using your phone. Now, I know since this is going to be online, I can't see you on the other end of the internet. So maybe when you're doing your homework or taking your test, don't do this. It might be tempting to go, oh, well, my phone's right here and my calculator's somewhere on a shelf or in my book bag. I'll just use my phone. It's easier. No, because now you're trying to do homework, and then you got your best friend texting you, hey, let's go grab something to eat. And now you're going to stop doing your homework to go get some to eat with your friend. Whereas if you were using your calculator, it wouldn't have vibrated and rang and said, hey, stop doing your homework. So get in the habit of using the calculator, because that's the one that you're going to be using for the exams and for the final exam and all that stuff. So put the phone away, turn the TV off, just focus on homework when it's homework time. Let's see. Tests, yeah, it's worth mentioning because that final exam is going to creep up pretty quickly. So the way I'm going to have the section or chapter exams is going to be in MyMathLab. You'll, we start at chapter 5. You'll work through all the sections in chapter 5, and then there'll be the test 1. We'll cover all this material from chapter 5. And the course is just going to go like that until we get to the very end where there'll be a final exam, which I've already decided that the final exam, the way I'm going to have it work is it's going to open on Thursday, August 6th at noon, and it's going to close on Friday, August 7th at midnight. That gives people plenty of time to find a good, 2-hour window to just sit down and take the final exam and give it their all. I think that's more than enough time to allow people to sit and take a final exam. Not that it's going to take you all day, right? It's still just going to be a regular exam, but I wanted to give everyone a nice window. Do keep in mind that you do have to get a 60% or higher on the final exam in order to successfully complete the course. Yes, it happens, and yes, I hate it. Sometimes a student will have a final exam score of 54%, but it looks like they have a 78 in the course because they did well on their homework and they did okay on most of the exams. So it looks like they have a passing grade of 78%, but because it's a 54% on the final exam, you don't get to keep that C. The highest grade that it can be offered to you is the D, which is not passing. So Keep that in mind when you get to the final exam, because some of you may do great on all the exams, and you blow the homework out of the water. You got 100% there, and then you say, well, I'll just take the final exam and be done with it. Right? I'm already sitting on a 89. What's the worst that could happen? Well, worst that could happen is you might not pass the class. So keep that in mind. There's 4 exams, so it's broken up really nicely. Right? There's basically 4 different chapters that we go through. Technically 5 if you count the chapter 6 review part. But we go through each chapter, and then you'll take a test, go through chapter, take a test. You'll see it pretty much works out to almost every week you're going to be taking a test. So, keep that in mind. This course is going to go by really, really quickly. Late work, it's already built in. So, if, say, there's an assignment due tonight, and I start half of it, but then I forget to finish the other half. And then tomorrow I wake up and I go, oh my gosh, I never finished the rest of my homework. You don't have to email me and ask me to reopen it. You just go into MATLAB and you pick up where you left off. It'll give you a 25% reduction in points, but only on that second half of the assignment that you forgot to finish. Right? So that's the nice thing about it. If you did some stuff before the due date, you get the full points. But then when you go into finish up, that stuff that you have to finish up is getting the 25% reduction in points. So keep that in mind. Things happen. There have to be due dates, though. I can't let you work at your own pace, because then everyone would put it off till the last week and not be able to get enough done. So there are weekly due dates that you have to respect. But if for some reason you find yourself not capable of completing everything, you need an extra day, it's a 25% reduction in points on 1 or 2 assignments is not going to make or break you. So, I'd rather you do the work than have me just cut it off and say, you know what, you can't do section 5.3 because you were late. I'd rather have you go do section 5.3 late. At least you're getting most of the points. And the more important thing is you're learning the material. That's what I really care about. Gordon rule, that just means, this will count for college credit. Attendance, you're watching this video, so you're good there. Make sure you take the syllabus quiz in Canvas. The only thing the syllabus quiz is good for is attendance, basically, so that I know that you are on the other side of the internet somewhere, and you are a living, breathing human being who wants to be in this class. No-show policy, that is, if you don't take the syllabus quiz or register for MATLAB or email me or something like that, then I don't know if you're, a human being anywhere. I'm just going to have to remove you from the roster. So don't do that. Make sure you attempt the quiz and get registered for MATLAB. Electronics, yeah, again, stuff will be online, so make sure you got good, reliable internet. Don't email me Friday at 11:30 at night and say, oh, my internet's been down all day, so can you reopen all the homeworks, or can you, turn off the late penalty for me since I didn't have internet? You had all week, right? You had all week to do those assignments. Just because you waited till the very last minute because you had an internet issue, that to me, that doesn't seem fair to everyone else who did do it on time. So it is your responsibility to have a reliable internet connection. If it's Friday at 11:30 at night and you don't have internet, you best find yourself a Starbucks or a library that's open 24 hours, right? You waited till the last minute. So, there's always the possibility that you just, pick it up tomorrow and accept the late penalty. It is what it is. Misconduct, again, we're not even really in a classroom, so I don't see that happening. Technical support, there is a number for the MyMathLab stuff, and typically after a little bit of waiting, you can get in touch with an actual human being rather than just a robot. Recording devices, obviously, again, not even in a classroom. Email, do make sure that you use your official SCF email or email me through Canvas. If you use like a Gmail account or something like that, I cannot respond to those. So it'll just be crickets, right? Make sure you use your actual student email. That's the only way that we'll be able to communicate with one another. Withdraw, I'll let you know the withdrawal deadline as it gets closer. But basically, if you're finding yourself, just on the cusp of like, borderline C or D, typically I tell people stick it out and pass. It's better to just pass it than it is to have to do it again next semester and pay for it again. But if you get to that point in the semester right before the withdrawal deadline, and you feel like, what, this just isn't for me, I'm going to tap out, you have to withdraw before the deadline so that it doesn't affect your GPA. And again, once I have to find the date, it always changes. So I'll let you know before that happens. Rest of the stuff, just kind of thumb through. Plagiarism, don't cheat. Right? It's not going to help you. What happens when you get into Calc 1 in the fall and you cheated your way through pre-calc all summer? You're going to fail that first test very miserably come fall. So, and again, I'm assuming most of you are taking Calculus 1 after this, or maybe Trig and then Calc 1, and then maybe Calc 2. Oh boy, no sympathy for you if you cheat your way through this class only to land face first in Calc 1. Calculus is a different monster, so don't do yourself that disservice. Right? Don't cheat, just don't do it. DRC, they're very, very accommodating. If you need any sort of help, it's got to go through them first. If you email me and say, hey, can I have an extra week to do my assignments? Well, then I have to give everyone the extra week. I can't be unfair to everyone else just because you requested it. So it's not an individual basis where you ask me and I say, yeah, sure, why not? Because then I'm being unfair to all the other students. So if it comes from the DRC and the DRC emails me and says this student gets, an extra 2 hours to take their test, then I have to abide by that, right? Because you went through the process. But if you email me and say, hey, I want an extra 2 hours to take my test, sorry, so does everybody else. And I'm not going to give everyone, 6 hours to take a test. So, keep that in mind. They're very helpful. Non-discrimination, and I've never had a problem with this, or religious observances. I've never had a problem with this, especially since, again, we're not going to be in a classroom. There's, if you have a holiday, you can go take your holiday. If it does come down, maybe this might be the only thing. If it does come down to, say you have an assignment due and you need some extension there because of a religious reason, then that I can accommodate for. But don't say, hey, my religion takes August off. Okay, nice try. I don't think any religion takes all of August off, so you do have to do your work. Department chair, or, well, I guess not department chair, she's now known as the assistant dean, is Stephanie Cook. Typically, if there's an issue, just email me. I can solve 99.9% of problems. But if there's some weird situation, she would be the next one that I go to. Okay, and there's that highlighted thing again. This is the last page of the syllabus, and it's probably the most important. If you do want to print something out, I would say just print this page. It's probably all you really need. It's got all the information on it, and it's what I like to call the pacing schedule. So it breaks it down week by week. Of course, this week is actually just one day, which is weird. I've never seen that before. But it breaks down all the weekly assignments that we'll be going through. And, as you look through these sections, I know it says Thursday. You have to do like all of these sections. No, you don't have to do 6 sections all in one day. You can work a little bit on Friday, a little bit on Saturday, a little bit on Sunday. Worst case scenario, if Thursday you only get 5.1 and 5.2 done, that's not terrible because, next week you can start to pick it up and really get some more sections done. But do keep in mind that first test is going to land in week 2. So when you do go to take that when you do go to take that first exam, you want to make sure you have everything from 5.1 to 5.7 done and comprehended, and you're ready to take the test. So, and we'll talk more about tests once we get into Math Lab. But you can see this is the only section that we call a review. It's the logarithms and exponential functions. So that's more just kind of a review from college algebra, but it gets lumped in here because Chapter 7 is just so short. So this test 2 will probably be made up of like half exponent log stuff and half the conic section stuff. So you can see, yeah, pretty quick here, because before you know it, it will be August. Trust me, this is like running a marathon, but while doing a full sprint through the entire thing. It's going to go fast, and you'll be tired by the end of it, and sore for sure. We cover everything we cover in a normal 16-week course. We just do it in 6 weeks instead of 16 weeks. So it is going to be fast. Just make sure you're prepared for that. Some people they'll say, it's fine, I'm good at math, whatever, I can knock this out. But trust me, it's not going to be comfortable, not for anyone. I myself, as a math major, would not want to take this course in 6 weeks. But it's there for you. If you think you can get it done, then yes, by all means, get it done. And that's it. So syllabus, browse through it. Once you're done browsing through the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz. Again, it's not for a grade, it's more for attendance. And if you take the quiz, then I say, okay, you're in the course and you've read the syllabus and you're on board. And you get 2 attempts. And the only reason there's a time limit is simply because I've had students click on it, answer the first question, walk away, and then come back and go, what was I doing? Whatever, close, and then they never finish the quiz, and it just leaves it in limbo for the entire semester. So that's the only reason I even put a time limit on there. But they're like true-false questions, right? Just get it done, and that way I know you're in the course and ready to work. You are currently watching this orientation video. This is just a placeholder here. You can always reference back to this at a later time if you need to. So yeah, that's Canvas. Mostly Canvas is going to be used for communication, like email or announcements or something like that. Once you get that syllabus quiz out of the way, there's no more work that you have to do on Canvas. The work will all be done in the My Math Lab. And I just Googled it. It's the first thing that pops up. They did change the name. It's now called My Lab Math. So one of 2 things. Either you've used MathLab before, which is great because that means you can just sign in with your current login and password. And when you do that, you'll want to, up at I think it's in the top right somewhere, there's a little link that says Enroll in New Section. So that's when you're going to have to type in that course code, Schaller 46438, and get enrolled in the pre-calculus section. If you have that account set up and you've used an account with My Math Lab before, then that's it. That's really all you need to do. You're pretty much good to go, other than to actually pay for it. But if you don't have an account or you've never used My Math Lab before, you're going to have to create an account. And that's where you'll hit Register Now as a student. And you'll see you need 3 things: your official SCF email address. Remember, I can't respond if it's not your official SCF email address. The instructor's course ID, that's the Schaller 46438. That's highlighted on the syllabus. And then, of course, an access code that you can buy in the bookstore, or you can use your credit card right here online and purchase it. I think it's maybe a few bucks cheaper if you buy it on the website rather than in the bookstore. But the bookstore, to get that access code, is the only place you can use your financial aid. They don't let you use financial aid on this website. Or PayPal, of course. But there's also a 2-week free trial. So if you're one of those individuals who is waiting on a paycheck or waiting for your financial aid to clear, at least click on that 2-week free trial. It'll get you started. And 2 weeks out of 6 weeks that's a pretty good chunk of the course. So when we go to register, this is the course code that I'm talking about. It is just all lowercase, my last name, SHOLLAR, and then 46438. Hit continue. And it'll say, okay, great, this is the course you want. This is a pre-calculus summer B taught by myself. If you already have an account, just sign in. If you don't have an account, then this is where you're going to create an account. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but you need to provide, email address, username, password. So when you fill all this stuff out, click all the boxes, sign your life away. on the next screen is when it asks you for either your access code or your credit card or a 2-week free trial. You have to kind of scroll down to the bottom. There's a little link that says, I'd like to try a 2-week free trial. So at least get the 2-week free trial going. That way you can get in there. You can always purchase it later if you want. So let me back out of this because I do have an account. And I will sign in. I was already signed in, so it just took me right in. This is the course that you'll see once you register, and you can see there's the access code there. 99% of the work that you do is going to be here in MyMathLab. So when you log into MyMathLab, again, there's no physical class that we're going to be, going to and lecturing. So when you log into the MyMathLab, the main thing that you're going to need to do in order to, progress your way through the course is watch the lecture videos. And after you watch the lecture videos, complete the homework assignments for each section. And then once you complete the homework assignments for each section and you're ready to take the test, make sure you take the test. And then just, repeat for each chapter. Right? Watch the videos. And I would, do it, a section at a time. Watch the video for 5.1, complete the homework for 5.1. Watch the video for 5.2, complete the homework for 5.2. Watch the video for 5.3, complete the homework for 5.3, et cetera, until you get to, I think it was 5.7, where that first chapter ends. That's the last section in the first chapter. When you get done with 5.7, then you should start gearing up to say, okay, now I need to take test 1, right? Because test 1 covers 5.1 to 5.7. Let me go back and review and refresh a little bit, and then we'll knock that test out. And that's basically how the course is going to operate. So important things, the video and resource library. This is where all of the lecture videos are going to be. Again, we start at 5.1. So everything chapter 1 through 4 is basically college algebra, and then 5 beyond is pre-calculus algebra. So chapter 5, section 5.1, and I will click on just the videos. That way I don't get too much stuff. But you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff, like you've got your test prep videos, the textbook access. But if I just want the lecture videos, I can just click on video and hit find now. And you can see that it pulls up all the concepts that are covered in section 5.1. So starting from the very beginning, I click on the video. I think this just talks about like calculator stuff.
We're going to begin our discussion by
and the author, Michael Sullivan, who I've actually met, goes through and basically will, provide all the lecture aspect of the course. So he's basically sat down and went through his whole book and, from cover to cover, and created these nice lecture videos, which is great. So the nice thing about a video is you can always replay it. You can rewind it. If there's a concept you already know, you could skip ahead a little bit, but we don't get that interaction, that feedback. When I'm in the classroom and I ask a question, I get feedback. Or if I, do something that you don't understand, you would say, hey, Mr. Schaller, where the heck did you get that? And I can, immediately explain things. I can, take a detour, or I can work an extra example. So for this, it's just going to be the videos that are here, but there are lots of great tools. This isn't the only thing that you're going to have at your disposal. So again, watch through the lecture videos, and sometimes they're broken down into more sections. Some sections are shorter than others. It might just be one video, but watch through the videos. And then once you've gotten through the videos, you'll notice that under assignments, chapter 5 is good to go, and I have that first test right there, ready and waiting. And you'll see that there are due dates. Again, make sure you respect the due dates, otherwise you'll get that 25% late penalty. But you've watched the videos, and now you want to tackle some of the homework. 5.1 is really cheap because it's so short. And some sections will only have like 10 questions. Some sections might have like 25 questions. It all just depends on the concepts that they're trying to cover in that one section. And sometimes there's multiple choice answers, sometimes there's drop down, sometimes there'll be graphing involved. So it's all sort of different. I knew this wasn't going to have very much for us. Let me go to a different section that might have a little more meat on the bones there. That one looks short too. I'll go to 5.7. Okay, so they're all 8 questions. But I just want a question that has some good material to it. Okay, this will be fun. So when you look at the videos, which you can also access through here on the question help, you'll also notice that there are view an example and help me solve this, and these two tools are very, very useful, each in their own way. So let's say I have this question and I'm stuck on it. I don't know what to do. I've watched the video. It hasn't been very helpful. What do I do in order to get through this problem and understand the concept? Well, if you click on Help Me Solve This, it'll walk you through in like a step-by-step guided tour of this is how you solve this type of problem. And you can see there's 5 parts, and we can answer some things as we work through each part of the question. Sometimes it's just simple explanation and you move on to the next part. But this is a really nice feature because this problem is the problem you're trying to solve, and it's actually solving it for you. It's basically guiding you and saying, this is how you solve this problem. But once you're done and you go to close this, you'll notice that the problem itself changed. So these numbers just changed. That's because it already did your problem for you. It's not going to say, okay, copy and paste, I did your homework for you. So it's going to change the numbers. Now, there are some questions where it doesn't change the numbers. If it's a more straightforward kind of basic concept question. But if you are working on the problem and you get stuck, but you don't want to lose your work by having it change the question on you, then you want view an example, because that will give you a slightly different problem. See how these numbers are different? So what I can do is now hold off on the work that I've already done for my homework question and say, well, I don't want to lose that. Maybe I'll do a different example. I'll view an example. And again, you can click through it and it gives you a guided tour of what you need to do. And then when you're done with that and you say, oh, okay, that's what I was missing, that's what I needed to do, close this and it won't change those numbers. Right? So you can pick up right where you left off. So when you pay for this software, you're basically buying an electronic version of the textbook, which the textbook is, let's not talk about prices of textbooks these days, but you're buying an electronic version of the textbook, and you can get to it over here with the e-text if you want to actually go through and read the book, which is good. I would say, someone took a long time to write that book, and there are very good examples in there. Yes, you can read a math book. It will help. But then the videos are all there. You've got Help Me Solve This. You've got View an Example. So as you go through and start working on some problems, you'll notice pretty quickly once you get into, like section 5.3, 5.4, you'll start to get a rhythm going of, okay, I got to watch this video, and then I'll go take a little 10-minute break, and then I'll sit down and I'll work through a handful of problems. And just kind of try and do about 2 sections every day. When I say every day, maybe take a day off on Saturday and Sunday, but you should be basically matching the pace of that last page on the syllabus, where it gives you the week-by-week breakdown. Albeit this first day on Thursday is really weird. Don't know why they did that. It's just one day, but you can see that your pace should be on point to getting all the way to the final exam. And then once you take that final exam, that's it. You're free. You're good to go. So if you have any questions, just how the course operates, and if you're having trouble getting registered for my math lab or accessing the videos or something like that, please email me and let me know. I will leave this video on Canvas for the entirety of the course, so you can always go back and reference this if you need to. But main things, just to summarize it all, the course is going to be online. not face-to-face. Make sure you're ready and capable of, sticking that out for the full 6 weeks. If you feel at all uncomfortable with doing online math, I would say get out now before it's too late. Get registered for my math lab and knock out that syllabus quiz. All right, so think about it. Say, hey, do I really want to do this online pre-calc stuff in 6 weeks? Oh boy, that's going to be hard. Get that syllabus quiz done, and then register for my math lab and get working as soon as possible, because August is going to be here like in no time. This course is going to fly by at a lightning fast pace. So make sure you're okay with that. And if you are, then hope you have fun, and welcome to the course.